Hey, it's Shannon, and we're looking at the app that controls the new Greenface Labs module called Thor's Arsenal. And what we're going to do is go through the fundamentals of how it works. And the app is a perfect way to demonstrate the fundamentals. So what we see here is we got 8 outputs, output 0 through output 7. And these are all going to be able to output voltages that are in the CV range, a maximum of around 100 hertz frequency that you can get out of these. But you can draw the waveform or select from many of the standard waveforms that we've got. Here, we can take a look at them right here. There's sine, haystack, ramp. These are all pretty standard. Pyramid. And we'll just go to Maytag because pulse is a little strange. I'll have to explain that later. And it's but it is very handy because it can simulate a digital output. But here Maytag obviously shows a random thing. So what we're going to do is go back to sine because we can hear it and understand how it's working. And so let's go to here. The next thing we notice is that there are 4 trigger inputs. Now here we can control them from the app, but they're actual inputs on the module. So if you plug a signal in, those signals will trigger the output also. And so we can select 4 triggers to trigger any of the 8 outputs that we have. So what we're going to do, since we're looking at output 0, is we're going to enable output 0 to be triggered by trigger 0. And what's going to happen is that when we trigger this thing, the output voltage from output 0 is going to be going to the mother 32. It's VCO, so it's just going to change the frequency. Let's just take a look at that. Now over to the right here, as that thing's going, you can see we have all these particular parameters. They're in this parameter list too, but we're going to use the sliders because they're pretty easy to demonstrate. So what happens is if you up the scale, now the waveform's bigger and it's going to go through a bigger range of frequencies. So that's pretty crazy there. Let's get it back down to around here. Now the offset is what you might expect. It'll shift the waveform up or down. Now here we notice we have the offset. Let's just default this back to 0. Now let's move to the active time. That's how long it takes from it to go from here to there. So right now we have 25 seconds for it to complete this entire cycle. So let's bump that down a little bit. Well, that's kind of neat. And it can go way down to 10 milliseconds where you get a strange effect. Or it can go all the way up to 65 seconds or over a minute. So it'll take over a minute for it to get through this thing. But let's put it back to something reasonable. And just to make things interesting, let's turn on the twangleizer. We'll hear a chord now. Well, that's kind of neat. Alright, let's stop this thing for a minute. Oh, we didn't get to randomness. Let's change the waveform though. Let's just choose a simple ramp wave. So as you would expect, it's just going to go steadily up and then jump down. So what we can do is trigger that again. But let's add a little bit of randomness. Well, that's fun, isn't it? Alright. Now, one thing we can demonstrate is when it's not triggered, is that we have an idle value. And when it leaves it where it last left it here, but if we change this idle value, we can change the output level just standing there, and there it is. You can see it in volts. That's pretty nifty. So when we go to here and default that, its default is in the middle there. Okay, so that is a good explanation of the basic. Let's turn that off. That's a good explanation of the basic functions of Thor's arsenal. One of the things that's pretty neat, though, is that all these outputs can be going through their rigmarole all simultaneously. So you can have 8 different waveforms that are being triggered by 4 different triggers, and there's different ways of triggering. We can get into that in a subsequent video. But we get you know, a lot of control voltages coming out of this module that can control a lot of modules that you have. And this is really great because it's all coordinated in one place and easy to control. And you have these fantastic 4 triggers that'll just, you know, you can assign them to any of these things. And so anyway, that is about it for now. We'll see you in a future video.